What's up, my Blade Nation? Welcome to the first episode of the Showcase series. Today we're going to be looking at the 4 legendary BitBeats. But before that, let's take a look at our sponsors. Do you hate going into your local stores and finding the same old Beyblades? I know I do. Well, hop right on to your computer or smart device and go to BeyTubers.com for all your Beyblade needs. Once you pick the beige you've wanted, enter in the coupon code XBL2021 to get 5% off your next purchase. What's up, Bladers out there? With this being my first showcase special, I figured we'd make it a little bit special. Not only are we going to be looking at the original legendary BitBeats and their new burst reformatted cells, but we're also going to be unboxing something that, in my opinion, is really cool. And for all of you who are like, oh, but it's a third-party item. Yes, I know this, but honestly, I don't know why Hasbro or Takara haven't made this yet. But it's from Brooks Gaming, and we have the dual launcher grip. And you may be wondering, if you don't already have one, what is the dual launcher grip? Well, that's where, like on the box, you can see with the little anime kid, you put 2 pull string launchers on it, and you can basically perform your own battles without having to have that couple second delay of picking up a second launcher and launching it off. First, we're going to look at the base. Then we'll look at the launcher, or the grip, and then we're going to do test battle. Okay, so here are the parts. Let me get my handy dandy scale down here, because we will be weighing each and every one of them, even if there are some I've already weighed. Cough, cough, just seal. But we're going to go ahead and look at each of the parts real quick. And no, you do not have to wait until the end of the video to get the QR codes. In my showcase special, since some of them you've already gotten, I will give you the QR code as I show the parts. There it is. Go ahead, pause the video. You now have Dragoon. But yeah, here's the Fang Dragoon. The slopes, can't really tell because it's white, but they do look nice from what I can see. But that was Fang Dragoon top layer. Next we have the 7 disc, which is a odd numbered disc, but it is symmetrical. And as you can see on the lines here, there are number 7s to signify that it is 7. This disc does have 4 stars. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and weigh each piece. 6 grams. We got 22 grams. And next we have Jaggy S, which is a pretty decent attack tip. There's its slingshot mode. It comes just above the point, giving it a different effect, which honestly just makes it more crazy in the stadium. But yeah, that was Dragoon. Now let's move to Jonzer. So with Jonzer, this is Crystal Jonzer. And as you can tell, even though the colors are pretty much the same, except for I believe the eyes, and I believe these part, the only major difference with this and the original Jonzer is the fact that the blue does have like a little bit of white spackle. But there you go. Go ahead, pause the video now for Crystal Jonzer for your Beyblade Burst app. We're gonna check out the slopes. Decent slopes. Not all too bad, but pretty basic. It comes in at 6 grams as well. Next we have the 4 disc, which is an even number, so it is symmetrical in every sense of the term. This one has 1 star. Yeah, even though there's a number 5 here, which is kind of weird. Normally the number matches how many stars, but I guess that theory's been broken in my head. But yeah, this one has 1 star. And here Oh yeah, and this weighs 21 grams. Here is Tower S in all of its glory, which besides the Drigger and Drasil, Dragoon and Dronzer were the only two that really had bottoms that match. But the Tower S slingshot mode comes above the point once again. It's kind of tricky getting it back to normal mode. But yeah, there's Tower, which I do like the symbol because it's like a little tower with a crown on it. Because we all know Dronzer was king. Next, we'll move on to Drigger. So Drigger, this is also known as Phantom Drigger, is a different color. But yeah, just like Drasil, it didn't share the same colors in the show. Now, they do have a Drigger that is the correct color, and with the announcement of a new Drasil coming out in the Hypersphere line, aka the new Surge Wave 2, we may see a new Drigger come out as well, since Dragoon and Dronzer both have 3 different versions of themselves. But let's go ahead, look at the back. Go ahead, scan your QR code for Phantom Drigger. Check out the slopes, which in my camera, it's kind of hard to see the slopes on this yellow paint. But I think all of them have some sort of like glitter spackle paint on them. So that is pretty cool that they're like in a shiny state. We have the 2-weight or forged disc, which I always found this forged disc funny because it looks like it spells out non on either side, or maybe it's like number 2, but yeah, this one has 1, 2, 3 stars. Go ahead and weigh that, 6 grams as well, and 21 grams, so not that bad. Here we have Zeta S, which is the same bottom you get with Turbo Spryzan. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but I believe this tip was supposed to be stamina. This tip's supposed to be defense. And this tip's supposed to be attack. So it can switch modes between the 3, which right here kind of gives you like a symbol of what this is. This isn't actually the first time we've seen a tip like this in Beyblade, because if I remember correctly, I had a Dronzer, might have been Black Dronzer's original bottom, had its mechanic where you could switch between 3 different tips. So this isn't some brand new idea, it's actually a revisit at an old idea. And this weighs 7 grams. So next we're going to look at Drasil. So if you watch my Guard Drasil episode, you already know that this is Guard Drasil. Just like Drigger, it is a complete recolor of how Drasil normally looks, because normally Drasil would have green, and also just like, I dropped it, also just like Drigger, also just like Drigger, there is another version of a burst Drasil that does come in green. Like I said before, we are expecting a Hypersphere version of Drasil that, in my opinion, with how the Hypersphere bottom looks on it, makes it look very close to a Plastic Gen Bay, and it could very well mean that they might recreate a lot more Plastic Gen Bays using Hypersphere bottoms because of how close they look. Go ahead and scan your Guard Drasil code in case you haven't watched the episode, or maybe you didn't get a chance to. The slopes are really, really good on this. Like I said, if you watch the Guard Your Seal episode, he did really good not bursting or even coming close to bursting. But yeah, there's the seal, which I believe he's the only one. Nope, he weighs 6 as well. So they all weigh 6 grams, unfortunately. Next, we're going to look at the one disc, which is, like I have said before, looks identical to the Hasbro Blitz with some alterations, mainly these parts here. This does have 1 star on it, so go ahead and weigh that, and it comes in at 21 grams. And then you have Atomic S, which, like I said, if you watch the Guard Your Seal episode, you've already seen all this, but just go ahead and show you again. That's how you get in slingshot mode, which, like all other slingshot modes except for triggers, it just kind of goes over where the base tip is, covers it, and gives it a different type of spin. But yeah. Now we're going to put them all together and weigh out all the bays as they were be put together to see who's actually the heaviest and who's actually the lightest, and possibly make some predictions on who's going to win the battles we put them in. Okay, so we're going to weigh out Dragoon, who comes in at a whopping 34 grams. Weigh out Dronzer, who comes in at 34 grams. Drigger, who comes in at 34 grams. And Drasil, who comes in at 35 grams. So out of the 4, Drasil is the heaviest, which I kind of figure since he is the only defense type of the 4. Where Dragoon is attack and Dronzer and Drigger are both balanced. Drasil is defense, so it would make sense for him to be a little heavier. And, well, he is by literally a little bit. So, there's that you can put in consideration with your predictions. I think the big 2 that are going to possibly win the most are going to be probably Drasil and Dronzer, with Drigger coming in very closely. I know all of you like, oh, you're a Tyson hater, you don't like Dragoon. It's not that, it's just I know this Dragoon to burst a lot when it's in battle, so I'm not expecting it not to burst a lot. But let's go ahead, do some test battles. We're not going to really test launch them because, not that we don't have the time to do it, I feel like going straight into battles is a lot better. But before we get to that, let's check out the new dual launcher grip. So here it is, guys. Here's my new Go Shoot combo grip, or I like to call it the dual launcher grip. And like you can kind of guess, it does have 2 slots to put launchers on. Now, you may be wondering, because I said earlier it only works for pull strings. I don't believe, no. It doesn't just only work for pull strings, it just works better for the simple fact that most of the non-pull string launchers aren't facing up. But just show you guys, you basically take your pull string launcher, you put it in just like that. You then take your other pull string launcher, put it in just like that, and there it is. Now you have 2 launchers you can pull at the same time. You may be wondering, well, this feels really weird. Well, they actually give you a special attachment that I'm about to show you. So right here, they give you this little rubber piece. Yeah, you just put it on like so. It goes on, so now instead of trying to grab both of the pull strings, you just grab this and extend out. Just like that. So let's go ahead, not only test this out, but go test out the bays in some battles and see who, out of the legendary Bit-Bees, is the best. Okay, we're going to start with Drigger and Dronzer. See how they perform using this new launcher grip. Three, two, one. And Dronzer won. Next we're going to go with Dracil and Dragoon. 3, 2, 1. And Dragoon is the winner. 3, 2, 1. And Dronzer won. 3, 2, 1. And Dracil won. 3, 2, 1. Dronzer won. Now it's time for Dragoon and Drigger. 3, 2, 1. And Dragoon or Drigger with that burst. Okay, so we're going to cut the video a little bit short because I don't have to show you all the QR codes or give you a rating of these 4 bays, because honestly, like I said back in my Dracil video, these 4 bays are perfect for beginner bays. I do want to give a little shout out to the grip. Granted, it took me a lot of time to get used to it. The best way I've seen to launch is put your whole hand here and pull and try to keep it as straight as possible, because if not, it's going to fly out and everything else. But as you saw, Dronzer was our big winner. I don't think he got any losses in any one of those battles. Drigger was the only one to get a burst. Dracil did pretty good, but Dragoon was also good until the end. But yeah, a big shout out to Brooks Gaming for coming up with this idea of a dual grip launcher. I understand Hasbro has their own version of their way of being able to launch multiple bays at one time. Does it work? No. But like, it works in theory, just not in actuality. But I'm gonna say, stay safe, keep Beyblading, and let it rip!